Hey guys, it's Hollywood Studios here, and I think it's about time we address something that's been being asked about for a while: Six Flags memberships. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the current state of Six Flags memberships, they have been being sold at Six Flags parks for a while now, but that was discontinued this year. Last year, Mike Spanos was removed as the CEO and replaced with Salim Bezol. Salim is looking to make the parks more high-quality, premium experiences, and he is starting by doing that with the food, and he's also starting by doing that with the admission. The pass system has been totally changed. In the past, you had memberships and passes. There were two tiers of passes, the regular combo pass and the gold pass, which gave you access to all Six Flags parks. That was eventually removed though, but the memberships did stay the same for a while. You had the gold plus membership, the platinum membership, the diamond, and then the diamond elite. And because of the pandemic, if you kept paying for your diamond elite membership, you'd be upgraded to diamond elite VIP, which I currently have, but I don't know how much longer that's going to stay. I've gone over the passes on this channel numerous times, but when they were first introduced, there were only three tiers of passes: the Thrill Seeker Pass, which is the cheapest one at $90, the Extreme Pass, which is the middle tier one at $160, and then the Ultimate Pass, which is the highest tier one at $300, and eventually the Summer Pass was introduced at $70. Keep in mind, all these prices are for Six Flags Great Adventure specifically. They may vary up and down depending on the park you're looking at. But these new prices set a precedent for Six Flags, and with these higher prices for admission, going into the park, paying these kinds of prices, you're going to expect better quality at the parks. So far, I would say that, at least at Great Adventure, the quality has definitely noticeably improved. Just going into the park for the first time this year, you'd notice that the entrance, at least the security booth, is brand new, has a brand new sign and everything. It looks so great, much better than the tent setup they had for 2020 and 2021. It actually looks really nice now. Additionally, they've repainted multiple rides like Medusa and Batman the Ride, in addition to other smaller things around the park that I've noticed throughout the year. One of the bigger things, at least in my opinion, that they've introduced this year is Fatburger and other dining options in the park. Fatburger, in my opinion, is the best burger in the park by far. I don't know what they do with it, but it is so delicious. It is definitely the best burger there. And I know there's been other food changes like rotisserie chicken being added to Granny's. They're also building a new shaded seating area by Johnny Rockets and bringing back a kiddie ride from the old Looney Tunes Seaport area near Little Devil and Jersey Devil. But all of this was great until a little while ago. The first night of Power Hours was May 12th, a Thursday. I attended and I was able to get all my meals, do everything that I normally do. However, the next day, Friday the 13th of May, things started to change. Park attendees noticed that there were missing items from the dining plan. Fatburger was completely removed from the dining plan, where previously everything on the menu at Fatburger was on the dining plan. That is no longer the case. The same goes at Johnny Rockets. As far as I know, Johnny Rockets has been totally removed from the dining plan. At Primo's Pizza, you can only get pizza now. Chicken is not on the dining plan anymore. And at Macho Nacho, the only thing you can get that is on the dining plan is loaded nachos. The burritos are no longer considered a meal on the dining plan. Now, this is all a lot, and obviously it has pretty big implications for the park and all the other parks going forward. But what does this mean specifically for the memberships? Obviously, the unlimited dining plan is no longer being sold. It was very clear from the start that it was not profitable. Salim recognized this and got it out of there as quick as he could. Obviously, they couldn't just go ahead and cancel all of our memberships and passes that have unlimited season dining on them, so this is their way of sort of canceling it. As I've said numerous times before, as long as you continue to pay for your Six Flags membership, no matter what tier it is, you still have it. It is still valid to use at the parks, even though they are not being sold. They're considered legacy memberships and you can still use them for admission. However, how long that will stay is not known. It's safe to assume that by the end of this year, or at least sometime next season, memberships will probably be completely done, meaning that your memberships will likely be canceled. Just keep in mind, this is total speculation. No one knows this for sure. But looking at the direction that Salim is trying to take the Six Flags parks in, memberships really do not fit that. They're very cheap compared to the new passes, which allows for a lot of people to get into the park. He doesn't want a lot of people to be in the park. He wants there to be higher admission prices, which translates to less people in the park, which also translates to a better park experience. You don't want to have to wait an hour for El Toro or Jersey Devil every time you want to go. You want to be able to pretty much walk right on with very minimal wait, and that's what he wants to do for the parks. Unfortunately, that does mean that we are going to have to pay a lot more. And this is not only with admission, it is also with the food. Now, I for one do agree with a lot of people that food at all amusement parks, specifically Six Flags, since we're talking about it in this video, is very overpriced. You can get hamburgers, pizza, anything outside of the parks for much cheaper than you can inside of the parks. But that is kind of to be expected. Everything at amusement parks, no matter what park it is going to be much more expensive than it would outside of the park, so it's just kind of something to be expected. What I don't think we were expecting though, at least in the case of Six Flags, is for the prices to be raised so much out of nowhere. It's a little too quick. I think if they do want to continue to raise prices and make the parks more premium, they gotta slow down. The passes, in my opinion, were implemented a little too quickly. Obviously, they want to get people out of the membership program as soon as they can because they're very, very cheap, too cheap for Six Flags to really be sustainable as a company. And truly, I think they should have held off a little bit. At least they shouldn't have made the passes as expensive as they currently are. They should have made it a little more moderate and slowly worked their way up to more expensive pricing. And obviously, they would have wanted to make sure that what they're trying to do here would work, to make the parks more premium, more expensive, to make sure it wouldn't flop and no one would go to the parks. I've noticed at Great Adventure this year that it has been much less crowded than it has in years past, and I think part of that is because of the higher admission prices. When you go to Great Adventure's website to buy a one-day ticket, it says it's $40, but that does not account for the processing fees that are added in later. It winds up being somewhere between $60, $70, maybe even more. It's very expensive to go to the park this year. And I think a lot of people are recognizing that. I think that combined with the incident that happened in March down in Florida is probably scaring people away from parks just a little bit. And all of that is combining into less crowds at Great Adventure. Now, whether these people that are still going to the park are membership holders or new pass holders, it's unknown. You can't really tell unless you're working at the company. But if they are members that are going to the park more often than the new pass holders, that means that Six Flags is actually making even less money than they would have been last year when the park, sure, it was packed, but there was a lot more people paying as opposed to this mix of people who barely pay anything and people who paid a premium, and it just really doesn't balance out too well. So I think that what they're trying to do is phase out memberships. Obviously, this dining plan change is the first step. They're trying to push you away from the higher priced, higher quality food items that you can get for free. I mean, the dining plan is so cheap, it's absolutely insane. I think you can get it somewhere between $4, $10. It's different between the membership tiers, but it is very, very cheap, especially if you go often. You're pretty much just stealing food from the park at that point. It's unreal how cheap it is. So they definitely cannot sustain that. And I do think that there needs to be changes to the dining plan, but I think that these changes are just a bit too sudden. Wiping out some of the best food options in the park from people who have already paid for the dining plan isn't really a great look. I think they probably should keep the dining plan the way it is, don't adjust anything until at least the end of the season, see how everything goes, and then make some more adjustments for next season. If they really do want to transform the Six Flags parks into something more, they're going to have to work towards it slowly, and I think right now they're moving a bit too quick, and they're probably going to piss off a lot of people doing this. But that's just my opinions on what is going to happen with memberships. I do think that eventually they will be phased out, whether that's next year, this year, I'm not too sure. But like I said, just keep paying for your membership, keep going to the park, show that you enjoy the benefits you get from the membership, and maybe they'll last a bit longer. But eventually, I'm sure that we're going to have to change to the new pass system, whether you like it or not, unfortunately. But that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.